Forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do. Messrs Norris and Verstappen will never be the same. As far as the chronology in their relationship, there will be a before the Austrian Grand Prix 2024 and there will be an after. This is only reinforced by Lando Norris's comments post-race. He said, unless Max owns his ball feathers, we will never be the same. Oh, the humanity. This is what we've been waiting for, is it not, as an F1 community? For Lando Norris to become a racing driver. You cannot be friends, for you both want 25 points. And of course it came to a head today when they both fought over those 25 points. The racing gods were smiling on us, were they not? Because the Austrian Grand Prix hitherto had been a snooze fest, simmered but not popped. But of course the bulls that were red uncharacteristically made a mistake as far as their pit stops were concerned. 6.5 seconds was Maximilian Verstappen's lot, where he's used to 1.9, 2.0. And again, the irony is not lost on me. Christian Horner, during the team principal press conference at the Austrian Grand Prix, said we might not have the fastest car, but we have the best team. It was only last week when James Allison was talking about complacency being the dragon that Mercedes were always going to have to slave for in their glory years, having won 8 Constructors' Championships back to back. The irony is not lost on me that this was the weekend that Christian Horner chose to smoke his own pipe, get high of his own supply, praise himself too much, and this is the weekend when they dropped the ball as far as their 6.5 second pit stop. This was reminiscent of Monza 2021, was it not? Same thing happened. Maximilian Verstappen fighting with Lewis Hamilton. A poor pit stop on both Mercedes and Red Bull led to that circumstance. F1 history doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme, some say. And Lando Norris in the latter stages of the Grand Prix, when gifted this from the racing gods, was always going to try one. It's in his nature. This is in his DNA, for he is becoming a racing driver, and this is a negative externality. You cannot have friends. If there is a gap per Ayrton Senna, you have to go for it each and every single time. Otherwise, you are no longer a racing driver. Oh, and Lando Norris was always going to go for it, wasn't he? In the first instant, he tried the move that worked in the sprint race. Maximilian Verstappen, though, is a wily old fox and was never going to fall for that. Not twice in 2 days. Lando Norris goes through it again. And this time, this is where it gets techie. Because Sky Sports F1's Anthony Davidson, on this occasion, adjudged Maximilian Verstappen to have moved around in the braking zone. And this is where it gets techie, does it not? Because one shouldn't move around in the braking zone if you are an F1 driver, and safety is a thing. But the FIA saw that and did one of these. They averted their gaze, as they usually tend to. And again, sometimes Hanlon's razor is a thing, is it not? Never attribute to malice that which you can attribute to stupidity. And this has been the FIA's lot as the regulatory body of the sport we know and love as F1, has it not? Even back in the day. You can go back to Senna's times and Prost times, and they always get things wrong. They are consistently inconsistent, have been and always will be. So I say this to you then. If Maximilian Verstappen moves around in the braking zone on lap X and doesn't get punished, can you blame him therefore for doing it again on lap Y? Non-rhetorical question. I don't have the answers. But of course, Maximilian Verstappen goes and does it again on lap Y. He's a killer, is he not? And I don't want for my sport to be desanitized. Let me say this up front now. I preface everything I'm about to say now with this. We don't want for snowflakes in Formula 1. It needs to be hard, but it needs to be fair. You could argue that what Maximilian Verstappen did today was the former and not the latter. This is Anthony Davidson's point around the moving around in the brake zone. Oh, the humanity. And then comes the incident in question when Lando Norris puts one round the outside this time. Now that's questionable. If you are a racing driver, a grizzled F1 vet, then you know going around the outside of Maximilian Verstappen is always going to end in tears. He's again too wily a fox, too grizzled an F1 driver to allow that to happen. Round the outside is an F1 driver taking the mick, because of course you need to be travelling faster, for there is more distance to travel. Lando Norris tries it. Anthony Davidson says this was the move of the Grand Prix. This was where Lando Norris was going to get it done. Not so if you're Maximilian Verstappen. And Maximilian, prior to turning in, does one of these. A slight move to the left causes the first collision. The second is caused by an overcrowding. Again, Maximilian Verstappen. Round the outside, you were always going to be left hung out to dry. This is where they touch the second time, and this is where the punctures and the damage comes into context. Lando Norris pits, is forced to DNF, comes out of the car disappointed. You can see it in his demeanour. He's fuming, not just because of the incident, but who he had the incident with. His friend, his mate, the chap with whom he goes to dinner, one Maximilian Verstappen. Oh, the humanity. This is tragic, is it not? Well, I would counter, not really. Because we are F1 fans, are we not? How can we support this sport, be dialed into it still, as at June 2024, if not for rancour and friction, if not for stakes? The greatest of seasons are characterised by that, are they not? When there is friction, when drivers don't like each other and are open and honest about it. Please see, for example, Silverstone ticket sales as at 2024. They will do one of these. I bet if you go on that website now, they've been struggling to sell them out. There will not be one ticket left. This is brilliant for the sport, is it not? Rancour and acrimony. These things characterise the greatest seasons in F1. The greatest seasons in sports. Please see a Bird and a Johnson. Please see USSR and the United States. Surely, if F1 harbours aspirations of becoming a genuine mainstream success, as Liberty Media wants so badly to do, then some of that burden rests on the shoulders of Maximilian Verstappen and Lando Norris as the next ones coming up. Oh, the humanity. I enjoyed that thoroughly, as I'm sure you did. Do you characterise it then, to conclude, as hard racing? Did Maximilian Verstappen overstep the line as Anthony Davidson said he did? Maybe. But it depends on the lens through which you watch your Formula One.